Any movie fans, the first thing I want to talk about is the news that Tom Holland talked to Amy Pascal and Kevin Feige right before the writer's strike about Spider-Man 4, how it's progressing. I just love what he said here. The first few meetings were about why would we do this again. I think we found a reason why. I'm really, really happy with where we're at in terms of the creative. Also a little reminiscent about it. There's a bit of a stigma about the fourth one in all franchises. I feel like we hit a home run with our first franchise. There's part of me that wants to walk away with my head held high and pass the baton to the next lucky kid that gets to bring this character to life. I just love what he says here because I love that. That to me is one of the best trilogies in the MCU, like something with the Captain America trilogy. I loved all three of his Spider-Man movies, and he's a great Peter Parker slash Spider-Man. I love the fact that it sounds like they have a good story to tell with the fourth one, and to me, this shows how much passion he has for the character too, and how much he cares about the character. The fact that a lot of franchises when you get to the fourth film, there's a stigma to the fourth film in the franchise, where most of the time they turn out to be really bad. And I like the idea of him being like, well, what's the story reason to do another one? Because I'm somebody that I always say this about movies: the three things I care about most in a movie is story, character, and tone. Like I like my action movies, but that's like in fourth place. But most of all, it's story, character, and tone. So I'm happy to hear that and I like the fact that he says like he doesn't want they went on the franchises are great, went on a high note. All three movies were great, and I understand definitely his hesitation to do another one if it's not as good as that trilogy. So I just love hearing that because it just shows me how much passion he has for the character. Next thing I want to talk about is the Transformers Rise of the Beast director is in talks to come back. And he was also talking about the whole idea of how the movie ends with the story idea of them doing a cross between G.I. Joe and Transformers. And I'll be honest, I don't have any interest in this idea. I'm not a G.I. Joe fan. I didn't grow up with it. I think all the G.I. Joe movies suck. I think it's real timing because neither franchise is only like healthy resistant. Like G.I. Joe movies didn't really make that much money. I think the second one at most made like over 300, so they weren't exactly like they did. That one did decent, but it wasn't like really all that great box office wise. And the Transformers franchise is in a position where it's trying to bring this franchise back to life. So it's like the timing and where these franchises are at right now, it makes it even less interesting. Again, and also just for me as somebody who's a Transformers fan but not a GI Joe fan, it's just like now when it comes to the direct and talks come back, I could go either way about him coming back. I enjoy Rise of the Beast, like I put the first Michael Bay film with nowhere near Bumblebee. But if he came back, I would be fine with it. If he doesn't, I would be fine with it too. So the next thing I want to talk about is Incredible Hulk coming to Disney Plus. I love this news. Now I love the Incredible Hulk. It's like I kind of compare Incredible Hulk to Watchmen and kind of how the Flash is doing critically, where it's getting good reviews, but not everybody loves the Flash. To those movies where I think this was an underrated comic book movie. I loved it. First to come off the 2003 Hawk movie, which I think sucked. This was so much better in my opinion. But I'm just happy to hear it's coming to Disney Plus finally. I think to me this is an underrated great comic book movie, Incredible Hulk. Next thing I want to talk about is the whole idea of doing a Bambi remake. Now let me say this: when it comes to Disney Plus remakes, they're hit or miss. I loved Aladdin. I loved Cruella, which is more of a reimagining. I loved Cinderella. I loved Jungle Book. And this is those four reasons why like when people get annoyed by Disney remakes, I'm like, well, they show you can make some great remakes. There's tons of great remakes too. So I don't have time if you remake a movie. It doesn't ruin the original. But Bambi is a weird idea. Like it's not one of those movies that I would have thought to do a remake of out of the Disney animated stuff. And it doesn't really. I don't really have any interest in it. But maybe they have a great idea. Hopefully, this will be one of the better remakes. But the idea just doesn't really interest me doing a remake of Bambi. Next thing I want to talk about is the fact that the Star Wars and Avatar movies got delayed. Avatar, I understand because those movies are like all visual effects. So those I can understand why those take a long time. And with Avatar, I'm not really that big of an Avatar fan. Like I didn't like the first one. I enjoyed the second one. It was an improvement over the first one, but I still don't think it's great. Star Wars, it sucks because you can tell this Lucasfilm is a mess right now with Kathleen Kennedy, and this isn't a sign to me. I'm like, because they always like talk about these Star Wars movies, they never get made. It seems like it lately all the time, and also I'm just like, yeah, and unless is it cool to see Star Wars on Disney Plus with these Disney Plus shows, like to me, Star Wars is like I want to see a Star Wars movie on a big screen again. Like Rise of Skywalker came out in 2019, and by the time we get these Star Wars movies, it'd be like next decade, and it just sucks that they keep doing this with the Star Wars movies. Like, 'cause I feel like we're not going to get a Star Wars movie until like 5 or 10 years later with the way that these movies are going. So it just sucks because I really want to see Star Wars back on the big screen again, and it just sucks to keep hearing that Star Wars movies don't happen, or they keep getting delayed. And this is definitely one of always why you need to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy and put somebody in charge new. But yeah, it just sucks to hear this news as a Star Wars fan. But that's all the movie topics today. Until next time, movie lovers.